Hello, this is the one episode rule. I'm Magpie, and I've got some stuff to talk about. So would the pair of you like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Blackle, and this last weekend I did effectively nothing.
Good.
Solid work. I'm Emma, and someone is coming over to cat sit for me tomorrow, and they haven't appeared to ask for the key, and I really hope it doesn't happen during the episode.
Oh dear.
It's probably fine. I texted him. How's it going, pod gang?
Pretty good.
Pod gang.
I wanna test out a little something here. I wanna bring something new to the podcast, which is two little pieces of things I wanted to talk about. Okay, number one, I feel as though it falls in our purview because of its general aesthetic. Is that I fucked around with the Code Vein demo quite a bit the past couple of days, and let me tell you, that is some anime shit. Oh boy, it's a very very specific kind of anime stuff too. I could just cut myself to ribbons on the edge.
Magpie. So I'm a uncultured swine, as they might say. I have no earthly idea what this game is.
Code Vein is if somebody tried to turn. Okay, imagine a blender, and first I want you to put in.
Hang on, I haven't imagined the blender yet.
Okay.
You're not gonna do the McCacker Boys brothers skit here.
The Macacker Boys.
McCricker. Anyway,
imagine a blender or get pushed into the imaginary blender.
I have a food processor. Is that okay?
Damn it, Emma.
I'm going to blend you now.
Make sure to do it all in one flow or all in one sitting.
Oh my god. Anyway, cram in a DVD of Tokyo Ghoul, and then just put in like a pair of circa 2005 trip pants with the D-rings.
Oh man!
And then finish it off with a venerable copy of Demon Souls, and then blend that all together. And
I do not know what any of those things are.
Yes, you do.
What the hell are trip pants?
Stop it!
Is this a facade? Do you not know trip pants?
I don't know what trip pants are.
Are you familiar with Jinkos?
Yes, I am familiar with Jinkos.
They're like goth Jinkos.
Well, okay. And what's Tokyo Ghoul?
Okay. So what are we doing this week?
That's the end of that segment.
Okay.
Oh. Man, that is it really is though. It's just got a very specific fashion sense to it that is very questionable. But it's consistent. I'll give it that. Everything does look like that.
Not always a good thing.
And the other thing I wanted to try and introduce is to cover in a little breaking news coverage that I just found out about 4 minutes before we started broadcasting, which is that that developer PsyOp has announced that it's going to release a dating sim for publisher KFC.
Holy shit! What do you mean a dating sim for KFC?
That would be Kentucky Fried Chicken is listed as the publisher on it, and it is called I Love You, Colonel Sanders.
No,
I'm literally like,
it isn't.
I'm in a cold sweat right now. I knew about this beforehand. I was so terrified that you'd bring it up, and you did. So kudos to you.
This isn't a bit. This isn't a bit, folks.
This isn't a bit. This actually is happening.
I'm on the Steam page.
I'm being okay. Her name is horrible, but she's very pretty.
And
even though her name is Ashley.
She's got a fucking boob window.
Well, yeah.
That's
Okay,
that's
so
part of the KFC outfit. I don't know if you've been to one recently.
I've not, but
That guy's just a JoJo.
That's just a JoJo right there.
this thing that has just been created, this thing that has been created by the hands of corporation, this is merely a stepping stone, or maybe rather a ladder to that
hell.
Wendy's is going to climb onto. And at some point, they're going to start posting Wendy's girl hentai to their Twitter
To their
account.
main
I
account.
swear to God, this is going to happen. And
I'm waiting
this
for
KFC bullshit is just increased the Bayesian likelihood in my mind that this is going to happen.
Sure.
Well-
I think we are possibly getting dangerously close to the Oculus Rift "You Fuck the Wendy's Girl" game.
Released by Wendy's.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me put your fears slightly to rest. Is that
Not possible.
this is not without precedent, and the other brands, Silence brand, have not followed KFC down its well of madness, which it's been proceeding down for a good long fucking while without anybody following it. For instance, do I need to remind you of the KFC VR game? And its levels of insanity, where you made chicken while being threatened by a giant demonic robot head of the Colonel.
Is this a truth?
Yes, I've seen footage.
This is a game that was out there?
Yeah, it came out in like 2017 or something, and it was an Oculus Rift game, I think.
I'm here to tell you, everybody, video games is bad.
It's a nightmare, but we didn't see a Wendy's game and a McDonald's game afterwards, because they all looked at that and went, holy shit.
Well, I don't know. I feel like at some point where something's going to happen, where people are just, this is merely, like you said, precedent for even more whack-ass bullshit that the brands are going to pull.
The other brands do not have the desperation necessary to do. These are the spasms of a dying company, because KFC has not been doing well for, say, the past 20 years.
Well, here's the question. Do you think KFC is going to release hentai for this?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, fuck, I don't know.
If they don't, someone will.
Someone.
Oh,
And that someone is me. Folks, I'm here to tell you about my new line of KFC pornography.
My Doshin.
It's something licking good.
It's finger licking good. Oh my God.
Anyway, that's
It's
what
finger
subscribe to
slicking
your-
good.
that's
I'll
That's what I
subscribe
have.
to your Patreon. I'll let you know.
Thank you.
put a
man.
$1 in that Ko-Fi.
Oh God.
All right.
So what the fuck are we doing this episode?
Do you all want to talk about? Sorry, before that, do you also want to talk about Crib?
Oh yeah, Crib's a thing. Are we just gonna advertise them? I don't know. You know what?
Cryb?
Yeah, we don't do a whole lot of planning or have a lot of foresight, so we might as well throw them a shout out. Even
Yeah.
if they crash and burn.
At least they tried.
We appreciate the attempt.
Basically, if this podcast is being listened to by a far future netizen, and all the archives are busted and gone,
yeah.
and this is the only thing left over, I got to tell you, Crib in this context refers to a potential replacement for Rabbit, which was our service of choice for watching videos together.
Crib seems cool. I don't know anything about it. I'm in their Discord, but I didn't speak because it was going very fast, and I am old.
Understandable.
People are
did
just
not-
really horny for video sharing.
I have not spoken.
Most of the people were just screaming at each other about the Apple press conference that was going on.
Yeah, it was very scary. I did not speak to anyone, but I did go in the promotion tag and immediately promote our podcast. So
Because of course.
so I was like,
God bless
hey,
you.
thanks for making this. This will make our podcast so much easier.
We're coming at it from the Hair Club for Men situation, where it's not only am I the president, I'm also a customer.
Fuck. All right. What, you guys want to get into this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I have something. Blacko wanted to do something, but I said that we will do this. because the two of you are here, I believe it is time to crack open Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online.
So Magpie, this is exactly what I was planning on happening. And you've fallen into my trap card. Just kidding.
That's unverifiable.
I don't even have Joey here this week to help me deal.
No, it's
just you and I chained up in the anime basement.
You watched Sword Art though, don't you like Sword Art?
I only liked every other season of Sword Art.
Wow.
But
they're nothing if not inconsistent.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is
consistently the one inconsistent.
You know, the funny thing is I heard parts of the newer one are okay, but then I hear that like people are just waiting for it to dive.
Well, as long as there's no piss.
Yeah, as long as there's no piss.
Yeah.
I think I just can't be sure anymore.
You can't ever be sure. You can't ever rest.
My library stabs me in the back.
I can't.
Anyway, I've got a link
Wait,
here.
actually, before we do this, can I just read to you? You know how I said, like, why the fuck does my library have this piss anime?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
and I'd like to read to you guys the fucking, what's the word?
An archive of our own article covering it.
Uh-huh.
No, I wanted to read you guys the content policy for the Hoopla Digital, which is let me see if I can find it. I should have got this up. Oh yeah, here it is. Content policy for Canada. Let me just skip ahead to the most important parts. There was something in here that was fucking hilarious. Even though the content may be controversial or unorthodox or unacceptable to others, Hoopla does not... Wait, hold on. I'm messing up here. Hoopla upholds the right to individual access to information, even though the content may be controversial, unorthodox, or unacceptable to others. So that's their content policy.
It's education.
Magpie, can you cut out all the parts where I skipped up, please? I beg you.
No. I'm afraid you shall go wanting.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get to watching this.
All right. Let's get Gun Gales.
All right, we've seen it now. Now we can go on the list of things that we've seen.
Yay.
We fixed it. We did it, folks.
We did it. We successfully completed the mission.
What episode was it that we escaped this?
I don't know. I think hell might be a strong word.
Yeah, it was actually good. It's like really good.
Like
I didn't think so, but
no.
Okay,
No.
well, what's your problem with it?
My problem with it is that it feels like they're just selling me a video game which doesn't exist.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Or a video game that doesn't exist yet.
Okay.
Kaiji. You
How
know
do I
what? It
put
was
this?
the Kaiji episode. Can we do the blurb and the summary and stuff?
Sure. If you can find one, read it.
Let me.
I neglected to find one.
That's okay. You know what? Let me. I can just summarize it myself. So we just watched Sword Art Online : Alternative : Gun Gale Online, which is a sequel, I guess, to the many Sword Art Online sequels.
It's like a side story.
Sure, it's a side story, hence alternative, I guess. And instead of it being set in an MMO, it is set in a battle royale. And we are following a very large and huge man and a very small and tiny girl who are just trying to fight their way through a round of a game. And there's cops there's cops playing the game also.
By the way, that sounds like a ridiculous plot point. This is in fact true, that there are just precincts of cops who just get their own servers of like Day of Defeat or whatever, and they just spend their weekend shooting at each other.
I hate that. I hate that.
I'm not surprised, actually.
I don't know. That basically, like, I don't know. I've known a couple of cops, and they're super into guns, basically. So of course they're into fucking first-person shooters and shit.
Yes.
Sorry, I left out the part in case somehow you, the listener, have escaped Sword Art Online. The original show is an isekai, which is here's a Japanese learning whatever blah blah segment. Isekai just means new world.
It means another world.
And it is
See
a genre.
Mother's Basement for explanation of isekai.
It is a genre of anime that is as bloated as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it is about people getting stuck in new worlds, and in Sword Art, it was people getting stuck in an MMO. This show starts with a very helpful recap that says, "Oh, don't worry, those people got out, and it's no longer possible to do that to video games."
They cannot kill you anymore.
The first fucking line is, "If you die in the game, you die for real." So
Yeah.
all right.
I wrote that down on my. That was the first thing I wrote down. Is like, if you die in the game, wow, right at the gate, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Now that that's out of the way,
Shall we just go down our list of notes, like good little students of the craft?
I should preface this is that I did have a reason for choosing this. I had never seen any of it, but I had seen part of a Mother's Basement video on it, which described it as the only good Sword Art Online.
you didn't
Which is why I
tell
picked-
me that. So the entire time that I've known this was on our list, I've been terrified.
Mm-hmm.
I've been like, "Oh God, we're gonna have to go in the Sword Art hole."
Yes,
I had a nice time.
exactly as designed.
You
I
are not the
didn't
master
have
of
a
my
good
destiny,
time.
Magpie. Sorry,
Not at
Black Hole?
I said I didn't have a good time at all.
Not at all?
What's the problem? The small impish video game character seemed charming. The big man gave me Bato from Ghost in the Shell vibes.
That's none of my issues with this show.
Okay. What's your
How do I sum this up? I think first of all, just the how do I say this? Do you know how on 4chan there's different boards? And there's a board for weapons.
Yeah.
It just feels like this entire anime was designed so that if one of those people so much as for a millisecond laid their peepers on this anime, they would nut immediately. And I could not get that out of my mind.
I'm gonna cut you off here, Blackhole. In one of the rare times that I can actually call bullshit on somebody else's opinion, and that I've seen a lot of gun fetishization. I live in Texas. I like survival horror video games. This was very, very light gun fetishization.
Well, let me tell you something. I live in a country where owning a gun is so heavily regulated. I literally know no person who owns a gun.
You know Ryan.
You know Ryan.
I don't think I've ever met Ryan in real life.
Friend of the show and fellow host Ryan.
Yeah.
Who owns firearms.
I try not to think about Ryan's firearms.
Sure. Can I?
I try not to think about Ryan's firearms because that time he told us he shot that bottle of vodka and got a piece of glass stuck in his leg.
I hate that story. I wanted just to go back real quick and talk about at the very beginning of this episode. After the recap that made me not feel lost, the little girl is using a gun called a P90, and it is pink, and she refers to it as Peachon.
It's Peachon.
Yeah.
I wrote that down too.
My little friend. I love that part.
That's where I rolled my eyes. I was like, oh, I love Peachan, my little pink instrument of death.
Hey, if you can name a sword, you can name a fucking gun. It's a video game.
Sure.
It's allowed. You play video game.
Do you think I play video games? I don't play video games.
You've made video games!
You are
I have not made video games. The only video game I've made is Canada Goes to Paris, which is a game where you scroll your mouse over an Eiffel Tower, and the Canadian flag flies over, and you hear a punching noise.
That's my
That's
favorite
the only
game.
game I've made.
It's my favorite video game.
Didn't that win a VGA?
I'm sorry?
Didn't that win a video game award?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Totally.
There's certainly a Game of the Year edition where the maple leaf like flashes rainbow colors.
Yeah. It was great. Troy Baker's performance in it was just where he got really close to the mic and he went. He's great.
that
What a
that was
versatile-
actually like I'm astonished by how close that noise you just made.
Yeah,
is.
it's pretty close.
That I actually ended up using.
Well, that's almost like a platonic punch noise. It's pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
Thank you so
Well
much.
done.
I'm very touched. I'm a voice actor.
So would you like
Um,
to do some Foley work for me on some of my projects?
I'm open and available. Send all your business inquiries to oneepisodecast@gmail.com. That is one the word, not the number.
Yeah.
So Gun Gale.
Yeah.
Can I continue with the other
Sure.
point that just frustrated me immensely?
Yes.
At the
Yeah,
very
go ahead.
end, so with animes like this, where it's sort of like what's the word? Have any of you seen what's the show? It's called Adona Zero or whatever it's called. It's this mech
I'll
anime.
know it, but
I'll
I
know a zero.
haven't seen it.
So it's I've seen I think everything up to season 2 at least. And in that show,
one.
no, I meant like season 1 and
Oh,
2.
and including.
Yes.
How fun.
Yeah, anyway, in that show, like every episode, they're trying to figure out how to like defeat a certain mech, right?
Mhm.
And it has sort of the same like what's the word? Dynamics as a show like this, where it's like the main characters, they have an obstacle that they have to solve. So like in this episode, in this show, they have to solve the problem of these like professionals
Right.
who
They
are
have
like
to kill the
super
cops.
Well,
exactly. They have
first-
to become cop killers, which I was actually quite on board with. But
Well,
so-
first they have to solve the problem of the of team number 1 to appear in the show, who I'm quite fond of, and I will talk about later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the puzzle that they have to solve with killing these guys, the very intriguing part where they're like, "Oh my god, they're right on top of us. Where are they?" And they broke like the crucial rule of like these whodunit mysteries or like any mystery in general, where you give the key piece of information that lets the audience solve what's going on immediately before you reveal that's the piece of information that like. So the deal is she like they're like trying to figure out what's going on, and then like they're looking around and then they see a suitcase, and then within like 30 seconds she jumps out of the suitcase and kills everybody.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
just
like
like
Yeah.
Good. Good time.
I
I
understand.
was just like, of course she's in the fucking suitcase. Like immediately when they showed the suitcase, I was like, oh yeah, she's in there. And I just
Yeah.
felt so frustrated that it's just they like threw
For some
away
reason-
this mystery.
I
For
do
some-
want to say
Hmm.
they show you the suitcase much earlier. They show it to you. They show it to you while they're in the house. It's on the bed, and then the big guy pulls out a knife as if to cut out the bottom of it. And then they do the suitcase. I believe is
No, I mean
this.
when the guys are looking around and see the suitcase. Then that makes it even worse that you saw the suitcase earlier.
Why
I don't know. I was just very disappointed and unimpressed by that scene.
I do not understand. I do
I
not
thought-
understand what you mean.
I would have been surprised if she was like floating in the air or something. That'd be kind of cool.
If she was just no clipping.
She's
Yeah,
just
I wasn't
hovering?
saying
What
no
the hell?
clipping, but clearly she's very fast. She's basically Sonic, right? Like you hear the spin dash sound when she's running.
I think that's what she spent all her like. Because I'll let this on is that I saw part of the season of OG Sword Art where they went to Gun Gale Online. It's not just battle royales and stuff. There's like stats and stuff, and
Yeah.
you buy different guns.
Yeah.
Except for
believe-
Kirito, who managed to get into the first-person shooter game and find the only fucking sword in it.
The best part of Gun Gale Online is that Kirito has a sword.
I paused that, and I had like just sort of an episode. But anyway,
Yeah, okay.
it was really bad for me because I had watched I'd been going through a friend who I watch trash anime with, and we were watching at that point. I was just like, finally, they got the Gun Gale online and stuff, and now they're gonna have to do something different with characters.
Yeah.
And then he escaped.
And then he caused me immense psychological pain.
What pissed me off about Gun Gale Online was that they really were like they had teed up for having Kirito be trans, because they basically get given like a feminine avatar, and they're like they could have gone for it. They really could have gone for it, but of course who was I to think that they would ever do such a thing?
Well,
like, who am I to imagine something like that happening? Of course not. Why would that happen? Yeah. Anyway, basically I was queer baited and it was very frustrating.
I'm sorry. I don't know too much about it, but I did hear that season was actually completely ruined by the fact that it just gives away the villain in the intro.
Man.
But I've got some notes. I want to get into some notes.
Sure.
Okay.
Go.
Because I like this show, especially Blackle, who has seen the rest of Sword Art in comparison to the rest of Sword Art.
That's true.
Hold on. I'm not saying that the rest of Sword Art is good, because it's not. I'm saying this is not a good anime. I'm not. Okay, how about this? How do I say this? Sword Art's in hell. This anime is in purgatory.
This is the first, I think, major disagreement on the quality of a show that we've had in the whole podcast.
Yeah, I like this show. It's a good show.
I'm not impressed. I was bored. It felt like I was just watching a Let's Play.
I also felt
Well,
that,
you were.
but I liked that about it. I liked that it felt like a Polygon video.
No, but it was a Polygon video without any of the jokes.
That's true. It wasn't as fun as a first-person shooter actually is, but
I should note that it actually is written on my notes that this is PUBG the anime.
I wrote exactly the same thing.
Is PUBG?
It's PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds the anime.
Which may be part of the root of why you didn't like it, Blackle. Do you like the idea of PUBG or watching people play it?
I think it's an interesting concept. I've watched a few of people like playing the game, and most of the entertainment I get out of those is just people doing like really just ridiculous shit and make jokes about it. I don't particularly care about the strategic portion of it, which this whole show was about.
Ridiculous shit, like, say, hiding in a suitcase.
I was thinking like driving a car around and like, your friend in the passenger seat is playing banjo over mic. And then going up to like players and be like, "Don't shoot us, we're pacifists," and just like playing banjo. That's the kind of shit that I like to see in those Let's Plays.
All right. I'll give it to you because you made me think of that video from Rust where the guy's running by playing death grips over his mic and it's Doppler shifting.
Yeah, and he's getting chased by like tons of wolves,
like shitloads of wolves and bears and stuff.
He's just like 665.
Oh, dog. So I'll stop arguing with you about it and just get on with this. Okay, Team 1. I wanted to talk about Team 1, and they are positioned as goons and villains in this episode, but that's and I'm you know what, somebody had to be, but I like them and I like their style because they have all chosen, instead of creating a like mixed unit, to all be Jesse Ventura from Predator.
Yeah,
they were the all Japan machine gun lovers.
They were the
all Japan machine gun lovers,
and you know what, they know what they're about.
They know what they're about. They played the FPS much like I do. They found guns and they emptied them.
They pointed
said,
them.
"Oh shit! There's a little girl out in those woods," and then they emptied all like 6 of their guns at a tree.
There's a tiny pink woman out there. Boys, light them up! It's time to take all painless out of the bag.
What I really liked was later the professionals, the cops, referred to the little pink girl as the desert pink munchkin.
Yeah.
I thought that was very funny.
I can't decide whether her hat is good or just terrible.
It looks like I think I've mentioned this before. I think I've compared something like this before in the past, but her hat is basically Mellow Moromi.
Don't like that. Not happy with that.
Have you guys seen Paranoid Agent? I think
Yes.
Magpie, you have, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
I was
why I
gonna
don't like
say
it.
if someone else didn't, then that would make a good episode. But
I am revolted by that that creature.
it's terrible. I agree, but I love it just the same.
The other note I had is that I really enjoyed Len. I believe you would say her screen name is Len.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Len's main ability appears to be she appears to have put most of her ability points into run speed, which is hilarious in an FPS.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can
That's
you
like
imagine?
that's like in Monster Factory where they like make a character and they just like put all the skill points into just one skill.
Exactly.
I really respect that she spec'd completely into being able to run in the 90s.
Exactly. But I really enjoy that the key to her success over these trained cops. I assume cops. They might be JSDF or Coast Guard guys. But against these cops at the end was the fact that she is like salty bet tiny and all of their normals just go over her head.
Yeah.
Like, and also the fact that she shot one of their own dudes and then hid behind his body.
God,
That was
yeah.
pretty funny.
It made me really yearn for a video game where the ragdolls could be shields.
Like I said, I would, and not just degrade your weapon like Dark Souls 2. But
yeah.
That's one of the things I came away with is that I've always looked at this series in particular because it's good in comparison to the original appearance. I've looked at Gun Gale Online and said, I would like to play this video game. It seems fun.
Yeah.
I would play this game, I think. I would just like not be playing it the same way everyone else is playing it.
Yeah, like well, how would you play it?
I would probably join into a sandbox server or everyone's just sort of like running around looking at shit and having a fun time.
All right, cool. You could be a merchant or something and hire me on the guard. And I'll
I don't
explain.
know if you guys know. I'm really not competitive at all.
Oh well, me either. Except for I wouldn't say that I'm competitive in that I am almost solely revenge based. So
I see.
Valid.
It's necessary for me to have that. I'm with Angriest Pat on the fact that people who say that revenge isn't satisfying didn't get their revenge, or they only got half of it. Yeah. They didn't get the full good revenge.
I would personally play this game by getting together 5 of my favorite perverts and just finding the first Steam Workshop mod that lets me display myself as Sans, and then I would just jump in there.
Oh my lord!
Joey should have been here for that joke.
Poor Joey. This, I do agree, Blackle, that it did kind of feel like it was trying to sell us on a game that doesn't exist. But it worked. I want to play this game. It was fun.
Oh man!
I would say, and by the way, I would say, Blackle, that it may not be fair to just watch one episode on this to determine whether it's good or bad, because I thought
that was the conceit of the episode, was that you only need the first one.
That's the only thing we're going to do.
The conceit of the show. This entire show is just you watch the first episode, okay? So don't pull that shit.
We see the episode and we decide if we want more.
Yeah, exactly. We're already in the episode. We've done our job. We can talk about the rest of it. I can advocate. Anyway, I think this whole first episode is just a setup for the rest of it, which kind of veers into a very non-sword art slice of life direction, because there's no great danger or anything involved in this show. It's just you saw the girl at the end. The girl at the end is actually quite tall.
That's even more boring.
No, I thought it was great. I thought it was extremely confusing that the little girl main character turned out to be actually a MILF.
Well, she's not a MILF. I
call her a MILF, but
I think she's actually like 20 or something. But
she had a side plate, so you'll have to forgive me for thinking that she was a mom.
Is that it?
If you hold a plate, you age 10 years. That's just how it works.
If you hold a
plate, plait, braid. She had a ponytail that was braided to one side, which gave her the appearance of a mother.
I thought you were referring to the fact that she was holding a plate with juice on it.
No, No.
And it's like, yeah, if you hold a plate with juice on it, you become a mom.
Yeah, this is the weird episode where Emma gets draconian. No,
Yeah,
I
that's it,
meant like a side plate, like a braid, a side
see.
ponytail,
That's
which
even
Okay.
more
anime moms
upsetting
tend
than
to have.
That's even more upsetting that you associate that with MILFs because because that's usually the marker of an anime mom that has tuberculosis and is going to die.
I don't really see personally what the difference is.
Well, I'm pleased that the
Oh.
main character is an anime mom, in the same vein as anime moms that usually die.
But oh,
Just that this anime mom is not going to die.
but
Well,
anyway,
I mean, maybe you don't know how good she is at the game. I guess.
it seems to like the rest of the series, from what I learned from Mother's Basement, seems to go in the direction of like slice of life type thing, where it's the big tall girl always just wanted to be like small and cute, and
Aw.
that's the whole reason.
That's relatable.
Yeah.
And then they go into the life of like
But
the
I've
big
already
guy too. It's just
well,
fun.
I'll tell you one thing.
Hmm.
I was, as I've said before, I was really not taken in by this anime, at least the first episode. And the thought of watching any more is just, how do I say this? I don't want to, because I've got other things to do.
Okay, that's
fair.
fine.
That's fair. We can have disagreements on this show, you motherfucker. I don't know. I had fun. I was weirded out at first by the big muscle man and the small child, but at the same time, it was also kind of nice to be like, oh my god, there's no Kirito here. Like, we don't have to deal with him.
We don't have
Yeah.
to think about that guy.
That's
There's
pretty
not
good.
just like a generic, just like a real regular boy.
Uh, have we ever defined how the Kirito scale works?
I don't think so.
Like, does
If-
the number get like bigger?
The
or
closer
smaller?
you look like Kirito, the more Kirito you are.
It's
I
Kir-
think it's more like Hangman and like some people are just a K, but some people are Kiri. And
No,
That's pretty
no.
good. And once you become all of it, you die.
I'm thinking of it as like a graph. Would you say that Kirito would be like a perfect 0 on the graph, or would it be like a 5 and then the extremes would be like 10 and 1? I don't.
what if it's a pie chart and the pie chart is Kirito's face?
I need
and
that.
The more of a you start with the character's face, and there's like a slice of Kirito face, and then like the more Kirito like they are, the bigger Kirito gets.
But well, yeah, just by just naturally because their faces sink.
Because they just sync up.
I think we're gonna have to stop talking about Kirito because I feel like eventually we're gonna get to the lost chapter of the light novel, which I don't want to happen.
I'm not familiar, and I choose to remain unfamiliar.
Then why did you bring it up?
I thought it was funny to do. Anyway, can I bring up something from like my notes now? Just
Sure.
like random shit that I noticed. I thought it was very funny that the big chunky guy kneeled down and became the tiny girl's height. Just kneels down and now they're the same height.
Yep.
Pretty
That's
good.
really funny. Also, I enjoyed how you see the leaderboard at the very start of the episode, and it's just a bunch of random usernames. And one of them I picked out, there was like QWERTY and RGB and just like random like sequences of Latin characters, which I thought was very funny.
It was a very polite leaderboard in that it didn't have any screen names, like real screen names like you'd see in the West, like Bongatron.
Yeah.
or like Dick Fucker 666 or something.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
God.
Also, when the tiny girl was like, when Sonic the Hedgehog was like,
Amy Rose, excuse you.
when Amy Rose said, those professionals actually know how to shoot and like do stuff. It was in my head. I was like, oh my god, it's like playing Wii tennis against an actual tennis player. I'm gonna shit my pants.
God.
I think I would feel the same if if the opposing team in like Overwatch or something was just like a bunch of cops or something. It's just like fuck you guys.
Yeah. I did enjoy how like she has these like unrealistic moveset of like being able to go really fast, and the people, like the cops, were just not impressed. They were just kind of pissed off, and we're like, okay, we're leaving, and just left.
Yeah, those guys were actually
So
those guys were entirely too serious because
So like
Yeah.
she didn't particularly win fair and square in a way. She just like put herself in a position to like make it so that it's like if you ran up to some guys in a game, like, and we're just like, hey guys, I'm gonna spend the rest of this like what's the word, round just yodeling into my mic. And you can stay if you want to, but I'm just so you know, I'm gonna be yodeling this whole time. And then they were like, fuck this, I'm out.
so like the loot players in Mordhau. Anyway.
That's also exactly what happens every time the recording of this episode stops. I just start yodeling and yodeling until they leave.
I joined in a few times.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
So, I think the question of whether or not we'd come back for some more episodes is pretty clearly defined here
Uh-huh. Pretty
Yeah.
starkly.
between those who are open-minded and fascists. Anyway.
I'm just saying, I've got better things to do. Like if I had a weekend set up like where I wasn't doing anything, sure, but like let me tell
How
you,
dare you have better things to do with your
literally
time.
after this
Then watching.
podcast, I'm gonna go back to do like work for my job because I've got a lot of shit to do this week.
It's understandable. I don't know. I liked it a lot. I don't know that I will watch more, but I wouldn't be opposed to watching more. I found this one a lot more digestible than the regular Sword Art Online. I think because it's not as bogged down in like a really complicated MMO game, and like the whole like if you die in the game you die for real thing, and the whole like all the like, oh, now you guys look like your real selves instead of your avatars, so you're all
That
like,
was
fucked up.
so bad.
That is
Yeah.
fucked up.
That was the worst part.
Yeah.
The music, I like the music a whole lot. I didn't like in the ending theme that they showed the little girl avatar in her underwear. What's your problem?
I
Japan.
exited before I saw that, so I'm glad I
Japan is
didn't
the
see that.
That's their problem. The problem is Japan.
It's the problem.
I mean, I guess it's another level of fucked up because they probably feel more like what's the word, entitled to the character because it's controlled by like an actual of age person.
I don't know.
No,
Which is really disturbing to me.
I'll be real.
Yeah.
Often those sequences are actually just straight up made by different companies. So who the fuck knows?
Yep, it's a mystery.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably come back and watch some more of this. I don't know. I actually do have a lot of things to do. The difference is that I'm sad about it.
Yeah, I am busy. I'm other things too, dude.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up now.
All right.
On that note.